If you know anything about me, you know I love like a 10 things, a list of tips and hacks. Love it, love it. So these are 10 of my favorite little things that help support my life with type 1 diabetes in one way or another. First up, I gotta shout it out. It's my gear, my Dexcom and my Omnipod. It's obvious, but it felt like it should be said because these two babies, I was thinking about life without them, and it was a tougher time. Especially CGM was like a game changer. Before that, you know, you were flying blind in between finger sticks. So I thought that was very much worth mentioning because it makes a huge impact and helps me stay on the straight and narrow, or no, when I'm not at all on the straight and narrow. Then there's my workout routine. I love a workout routine. I love it, and I really do it to support, yes, my insulin sensitivity and keep my body healthy, but also keep my mind healthy. And the two things I do are reformer Pilates and rebounding, which is bouncing up and down on a trampoline. So, I mean, what's not to love? So actually, it's like you're not really bouncing up, you're bouncing into it, and it's a very good exercise without having to put too much pressure on your knees, which I'm always mindful because people always have like problems with their knees, and I don't want to have problems with my knees if I can avoid it. And reformer Pilates I've done forever. It's like strength training, but also flexibility. It's a bit meditative for me. I just love reformer Pilates. So those are the two kind of main modalities that I go for when it comes to exercising. But I am a member of ClassPass, and that allows you to like book different classes all throughout the area that you're in, or when you're traveling in the other areas, which I really love and appreciate because sometimes I'll go to a new class because it's come on to ClassPass and I fall in love and I'm like, oh, I really like the vibe here. I do believe you have like a code that you can give people. If I have it, I will link it down below for ClassPass. But this is like in no way sponsored. I just wanted to share that that's how I do things and how I spice up my workout routines. But my main two loves right now, loves forever, reformer Pilates and trampoline exercising. My next thing is just getting enough sleep and having a sleep routine. And something that's really helped me with that is my Oura Ring. I don't think you need to have an Oura Ring to get great sleep. It's just to help keep me accountable. And that's kind of a theme throughout actually for me, is like going to classes helps keep me accountable, helps keep me engaged. And that's what I've really found with the Oura Ring. Before I wasn't as concerned with like getting to bed at a certain time or having that regularity because yeah, sometimes I felt better than others, but I didn't really so connect it to certain metrics that the Oura Ring provides. That's just me. I really love the Oura Ring. There's lots of other sleep trackers out there, but I found this to be very helpful. And again, I think with Oura, I have like some kind of discount code that you can get if you're interested in buying one that I will also link down below, but not sponsored. Just wanted to share. Next up, and I've talked about this in other videos, LMNT electrolyte drink mix. I put it in this container of water. I do drink usually one every day, and it just helps me hydrate properly. I don't like drinking water. I really find it quite tedious, and I just don't gravitate towards water. So since I'm not so drawn to drink water, if I have something with a little bit of electrolyte, something in it, that gets me engaged to drink the water. And also it has sodium in it, so it's going to help your body hold on to that water, which a lot of people may be wary of that, like, oh, I don't want to become like, you know, someone who's holding on to water. But actually, the more that you have that in there, the more your body also is allowing itself to kind of self-regulate and not hold on to water. And so actually I've found I'm less kind of water retentive when I'm taking this as opposed to when I'm not, which is quite interesting. It also has 200 milligrams of potassium and 60 milligrams of magnesium. And because I do love a workout, man, oh man, I need that magnesium. I really notice when I don't have enough magnesium, and sometimes I'll supplement with it. It really helps my muscles relax. Calves are always tight. I know that's like a type 1 diabetes thing that a lot of people experience. So that helps with that. It can also help with sleep and all sorts of jazz. And not to make it sound like it's a miracle, but it's also helped with my stomach. I have quite a bad sort of, at times, stomach and gastro issues. And the more I hydrate, the better that is. So this has just been a really, really, really excellent one. And by the way, it is sweetened with stevia, so no blood sugar implications there, which is great. Next up, this is random. This is very random, and I promise I cleaned this, but it's a tongue scraper. So this is my tongue scraper. What you do, I won't do it, but you put this at the back of your tongue and you scrape forward, and you wouldn't believe the crap that comes off. It's quite something. It's really a traditionally Ayurvedic practice. I remember I read an article when I was having a really bad gastro flare. I read an article about how it's so important to keep your mouth bacteria as clean as possible, because that also feeds down into your GI tract and affects the microbiome and everything like that. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give tongue scraping a try, because I'll take anything to help strengthen my stomach that is rather touchy. And actually, I feel like it really helped. It's the first thing I do when I wake up, before I drink water, before I take my levothyroxine medication. First thing I do, into the bathroom, scrape my tongue, get all that crap off that has accumulated throughout the night. And there is crap that accumulates throughout the night. And that's after doing it right before bed. So I do it 2 times a day, but that morning one is especially integral, I find. And I've really noticed like awesome results of this. I think everybody thought it was weird because last Christmas I gave tongue scrapers, and I included with it the article about like the benefits of tongue scraping. You can get them on Amazon super cheap. This one's by a brand called BOKA, but like, yeah, they're everywhere. Just find a shape that you like and works well for you, and that first thing in the morning is, for me, the key. Next, and will probably come as no surprise, walking 10,000 steps a day. I try to get in my 10,000 steps a day. Now that I know is like a number that was made up by somebody, and it's completely arbitrary, and you want to find what works best for you. I think actually when they crunched the numbers, 8K was like kind of a sweet spot, but obviously everybody's different. But I like this 10K metric. I like getting in those steps. I really like walking. I love like walking with a podcast. Is there anything better? I just love walking, and I notice a difference in my blood sugar when I don't get those steps in. And so if I get those steps in, I know I'm gonna have sort of positive repercussions on my insulin sensitivity and just my overall mental health. So walking is just winner, chicken dinner. This next one's hard because I feel a bit of like a FOMO person. Sometimes I don't want to be missing out, and I want to do everything, and I never want diabetes to stop me from doing anything. But if I'm really run down or tired or just mentally need to recharge, not doing anything or saying no is like a big pillar of strength for me to flex in order to look after myself. I hate not like being there for things, but sometimes I just am at the end of a rope, or I've had a really awful couple blood sugar days, or I've had a really awful low, and I just can't like, I just know if I muscle through, which I can always muscle through, that's no problem. But the aftermath of muscling through often isn't worth it. And it's so important, I find, for myself to just step back, not do anything if that's what my body is telling me to do. So not only saying no, but respecting and listening to my body. Easier said than done. So much easier said than done. This next one's very specific, and I don't know if it's something that, people will think is ridiculous, but for me, I pretty much always drink 2 lattes in the morning. Listen, I have a routine. So I always drink 2 lattes in the morning, and I always make them with unsweetened almond milk. That is the milk that plays best with my blood sugar, especially in the mornings when I may be more insulin resistant. That is just what I've found that works really well for me. It may sound like a very simple thing, but having that recipe together of knowing I do my latte with unsweetened almond milk, and that's like a very doable routine for me blood sugar wise. Oftentimes I'll bolus like 4 or 5 carbs, even though there's really hardly any carbs there, just for the caffeine. And obviously if it's unsweetened almond milk, there's no carbs there. But that automatically has a huge impact on my life, because that's every morning of my life pretty much. So it's the morning, it starts the day on that positive, predictable route for me. And if I'm not home, I will pack it with me and take it with me. There's nothing I have against like getting something while you're out, if that's what you want to do. But for me, I find it so frustrating because oftentimes it's oat milk or sweetened milks. Now, oat milk, please, I might as well have an IV of sugar coming right at me. It's so hard hitting for me. I've never successfully bolused for an oat milk latte. I know people love them, but I just can't. I just can't. So you do you, but for me, I find it so hard to find unsweetened milk on the go that I just end up bringing it with me. So this is a very simple but impactful hack. Second to last, focusing on whole foods with a real focus on protein and healthy fats. If I am on that kind of trajectory of food choice makings, that really helps support things for me. Helps support blood sugars, helps support energy, helps support focus and mental clarity. I know I feel better when I am eating in that way. And oftentimes I'm not eating in that way. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I will get busy and be a kind of more grab and go type of thing, and it does not feel good. I just don't feel my best when I'm doing that. I do feel good when I'm eating more like protein-centric, healthy fat-centric, whole food based. So that's just what works for me. And also what works for me is having like go-to meals, which I want to make a video about. Let me know down below if you think that would be a good video idea. Like go-to meals that I can make in bulk and have at the ready so that I can kind of help keep myself on that track of eating those whole foods. Because the biggest enemy for me is when I'm not prepared and I make decisions on the fly, or I have to grab something quickly. That's where I tend to fly off the track. And I'm really working on not doing that. But I'm only human. So last but not least, very personal decision, but I don't really drink alcohol. This is so personal, but for me, I have just kind of realized over the years, when I drink alcohol, it makes everything much more laborious to manage with my type 1 diabetes and blood sugar and everything like that. And the next day, I don't feel good and I feel robbed of energy, and diabetes already has a little handle on my energy stores. So to then add like a hangover into that is just like, for me, it's rather nightmarish. I don't feel good. And it takes me like doubly, triply as long to bounce back, I feel, because I have type 1 diabetes. So for that reason, I pretty much choose not to drink. Of course, I'll have something now and again. I'm not like a teetotaler at all, but it just makes life that little bit easier and helps me feel my best. When I do feel like with having type 1 diabetes, I come at things with a bit of a disadvantage, energy-wise and everything like that, because there's so much to think about and manage and so many different things that, you know, inevitably we deal with highs and lows and all that stuff. So I just feel like it removes something that can knock me down a further peg when I already feel like with type 1 diabetes, I'm kind of maybe a peg or two under the average person. So there we have it. Those are my 10 things. You know, I'm gonna ask it. Please let me know yours down below. I want more. I want to know what your go-to things are. So please meet me down in the comments section and help a girl out, because I'm always looking for more things that are simple tweaks that can make those huge impacts overall. That's like the biggest bang for your buck, and whether it be emotionally or physically or monetarily. So with all that being said, I wish you guys a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. I wish you great blood sugars, straight CGM lines, which is very rare on this side of town, but mostly, I wish you a happy, healthy mind with it all. I do these things because they support my mind and my overall enjoyment of life, and that's the most important thing to me. So your list and your things may not look anything like this, and that's so a-okay. I can't stress it enough, because it's what makes you feel good and you feel happy and you feel feeds those important pillars of your life. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.